Imagine for a second you're a kid hiding out in the mountains from actual, literal bombs, just hoping to survive the night. Pretty terrifying, right? Now imagine that same exact child growing up, stepping into the highest office of their country as president, only to come face to face with a completely different kind of weapon, an invisible, deeply insidious threat, malicious artificial intelligence.
I know, it sounds exactly like the plot of a sci-fi thriller, but it's real life, and it brings us to a really crucial question as we dive into this explainer. What can a child hiding from physical bombs actually teach the rest of us about surviving the future of AI? Well, stick with me, because the answer connects an ancient code of honor, a horrific war, and the digital deepfakes you and I are scrolling past every single day.
Section 1. The Child in the Mountains. A Story of Survival.
So the kid we're talking about here is Vjosa Osmani. She grew up under an oppressive, apartheid-like regime that eventually exploded into a devastating, genocidal war. Her memories of that time carry this immense emotional weight. She says, "We were sheltering from the shelling and the bombing, and we had that little radio with batteries, listening and hoping." Just think about that. For Osmani and thousands of other kids, everything was stripped away. No school, no normal childhood. Even just stepping outside to play was literally an act of quiet resistance. But here's the problem. When a population is stripped of everything, how on earth do they rebuild a nation from the ashes?
Section 2. The Power of Your Story. From Oppression to Triumph.
Well, Osmani realized something profound as she grew up. The only line separating a terrified child of war from a powerful leader of peace is one very simple word: opportunity. The opportunity to survive first, and then the opportunity to thrive. Just look at Kosovo's insane trajectory. To put it into perspective, this is a tiny nation of fewer than 2 million people. They lived under occupation and oppression for centuries. They survived a genocidal war in the 90s. And yet, within just the past 5 years under Osmani's presidency, they secured visa-free travel to Europe and are now thriving as a modern democracy. How did they pull off this massive shift?
This is where it gets super interesting, because most people don't realize the answer. It is simply the strength of your story. Osmani learned that a tiny country's power isn't defined by having the biggest military or the most economic might. True strength is having the absolute courage to walk into the rooms where massive global decisions are made and sharing your story. Success stories of resilience actually change the mindsets of massive superpowers.
But, and this is a big but, just as Kosovo found its footing and she took office, the battlefield shifted. Today, the weapons have completely changed. The physical autocracies and genocidal regimes she survived, they've evolved into something completely invisible.
Section 3. The New Threat to Truth. The Digital War.
As president, Osmani walked right into a modern buzzsaw: the insidious rise of malicious AI. Contrast the physical oppression of her youth, the shelling, the bombing, literal violence silencing voices, with her new reality, digital oppression. In office, Osmani faced cloned voices, deepfake videos, and entirely fabricated meetings that never even happened. This isn't just a nuisance, guys. Malicious AI completely manufactures false realities and rewrites the narrative overnight.
So, what does this all mean? The crucial point is this: truth is the real oxygen for democracy. When malicious AI pumps out deepfakes and digital propaganda, it pollutes that oxygen. It totally suffocates democracy. And Osmani knows firsthand from her childhood that when democracy dies, the result is extremism, populism, and immense human pain.
Section 4. Democracy in the Digital Age. Fighting Back.
So how do everyday citizens, voters, and global leaders actually fight back against this thick smog of digital propaganda? Because honestly, throwing our hands up simply isn't an option. Osmani offers 3 incredibly practical steps. Step 1. Massive digital education. People must be trained to spot deepfakes. Step 2. Avoid over-regulating good AI. We absolutely cannot block AI from curing diseases or saving lives just because bad actors misuse it. And step 3, we have to proactively build new digital instruments specifically designed to defend the truth.
But here's the twist most people don't see coming. Surviving this modern, high-tech digital war actually requires something incredibly old.
Section 5. The Code of Bessa. A Promise Kept.
You see, this modern digital resilience is deeply rooted in an ancient cultural code from Kosovo's history called Bessa. It literally translates to a code of promise. It basically means when you vow to protect someone else, you do it with your own life. Because of this ancient code, Kosovo holds a stunning distinction. Following the horrors of World War II, Kosovo was the only place on Earth where the Jewish population was actually higher after the war than before it. No way, right? But it's true. The people there lived by Bessa, protecting targeted populations with their own lives.
And during the horrific wars in the 90s, that exact same code applied. Mosques sheltered Catholics, churches sheltered Muslims. Osmani's own Muslim family was sheltered in a church when the Milosevic regime was hunting them. Humanity completely overruled religious differences.
Which brings us to one of the most emotional moments of this entire explainer. Recently, Osmani attended the funeral of a local leader, Pastor Dum Keelan Space. During the genocidal war, he hid hundreds of civilians of different religions inside his church. When the heavily armed police arrived and demanded he hand them over, he literally stood in front of the guns and said, "No, if you're going to kill someone, you have to kill me first." That is Bessa in action. That is human value absolutely conquering hatred.
Section 6. The next leader of peace. The cycle continues.
Okay, let's bring this all together. We've gone from a child hiding in the mountains to a president fighting AI to a pastor staring down guns, and it all connects beautifully. Because whether you're fighting a dictator with tanks or a malicious actor using AI to clone voices, the core mindset shifts you need to survive are exactly the same. Do not let hate prevail. Put human values and respect above everything else. Have the courage to tell your story. And finally, stand on the right side of history even when it is incredibly inconvenient or hard. That is the only way truth survives.
Which leads me to a final, pretty chilling question to leave you with today. Right now, there are children standing in line for food in war zones across the globe, listening to little battery-powered radios exactly like Osmani did. They are hoping someone, somewhere, is listening to them. The real question is, will we protect the truth and provide the opportunity they need so that the victim waiting in line today becomes the leader of peace who saves us tomorrow? Definitely something to keep in mind the next time you're scrolling through your feed.